Greetings, humans. I'm Ade.
And I'm George.
And welcome back to the Windmill Full of Corpses.
Okay, so we've been listening to Doom for a long time.
Doom.
So what that means is we were in front of the music.
Doom.
What we're going to do now is get behind it.
Doom. Okay, so these are the making of, I think, from the soundtrack of the original Doom music, like Game 2016.
Yes.
And they're on Mick Gordon's YouTube channel, which means we're gonna see Mick micking and not mucking about. So
okay, it's been highly requested, so hopefully y'all enjoy us looking at the genius explaining his genius. I hope he brags. I really hope he brags.
I hope he brags too. He really should brag. So we're gonna watch both parts in this reaction. This is part 1. Here we go.
Doom carries a really, really, really strong legacy. Doom set such a high bar when it originally came out. It set the trajectory for modern first-person shooters that we know today. When you're dealing with such a strong legacy, it's really important to treat that with the utmost respect. That original E1M1 riff is iconic. It is Doom. I wanted to find a way to kind of make that bigger and bolder. The first thing I did was made the riff a little bit lower. When you play the riff back lower, it feels more aggressive already. But I kind of felt that it needed to be lower still. I got a hold of a 9-string guitar to go even lower. Then what I was able to do was reconstruct E1M1 using the 9-string guitar while still incorporating those 4 original notes. Doom is here. It's claustrophobic, it's aggressive, it's brutal, it's tactile, it drills into your face, it's piercing, it's at you. The music
I already want to talk about what he's saying, because he's saying a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, so it turns out the At Doom's Gate riff is actually from a really old game, and the old Doom that he's talking about, I have no idea when it came out or what's the deal with that.
I think there was a Doom, and I think we actually have some suggestions for some soundtracks from it, that was like released in 1998 or something like that. So like really old game. Mm-hmm. And I think some people were saying we should dig into songs from that as well. I think we actually have some written down, but I don't remember exactly which one they were. I don't think it's the Tweaker that we have suggested.
No, it's probably even older than that. But I like how he said you just make it lower, and then you add more strings and make it lower. And I didn't even know 9-string guitars were a thing until I saw Mick Gordon. I mean, I think Rings of Saturn might have used 9-string guitars.
Yes, and I knew Ascend the Hollow had 9-string guitars.
Okay, but aside from that, most of the metal world stops at 8 because in their undecency, they're still decent compared to this guy. So,
I like how he said like that it's claustrophobic and that it's in your face and that it's all those things, because that's basically how I feel when I listen to the music. Like I'm being under attack, like I have no idea what's gonna happen next. And the fact that I'm also on camera actually for me makes that even more shocking and striking and scary, because it's not just that you're being battered to pieces, but you also have the whole world seeing you bear the humiliation of it.
Yeah, that's exactly. Look, like, here's the thing. When you create content to put on YouTube, people think it's you that's creating content and that you should be good so that people like to watch. It's like, no. Not when you do reactions, and especially not when you do reactions to Doom. When you do reactions to Doom, you have to be absolutely stupid.
We're not the comedians, we're the jokes. That's the key to making it work.
Yes. And I like, you know what was really cool? He said it's such a legacy that you need to treat it with respect. And here's where people's definitions of respect will start to collide, because I argue there would be some people on this planet that might not consider Doom respectful, but I am not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to me at least that says respect more than an absolutely disgustable riff, right? But other people will, for some reason that I completely cannot understand, focus on the disgusting part.
Let's see what the master has to say, and then let's let the whole second part in one piece.
And Doom really just tries to capture that complete lack of restraint. It's up close and personal. You have your hand down the throat of the demon. You're not hiding behind cover and running away scared.
Yes, I am.
The MIDI soundtrack of the original Doom did a brilliant job of combining technology with metal. I was inspired by that to kind of see where we could take electronic music in 2016. Doom's gameplay is a really dynamic experience. You go from fighting demons in close quarter combat environments to fighting hordes of demons in massive, vast areas. As you're playing, the music changes to reflect the situation that you're in.
Legend, man!
Dude, it's so cool that he's alternating what he's explaining with the music, because he's giving examples of what he's saying. I'm pretty sure this BFG division at the end was one of those more open things he was talking about.
Yeah.
And he said it's up close and personal. It's in your face. You've got your hand on the demon's throat. You're not running away scared. It's like, no, I disagree. That's why I was always bad at shooters. I'm running from the bloody demon.
Yeah, I think the discrepancy that's going on here is a lot of people who like this game, who played this game, who requested us to check out the songs, are really into the feeling of like, well, having your gun down the demon's throat and feeling like the ultimate god, and they're trying to communicate that feeling to us, and what they're not realizing is that we end up being the demon. we're the ones swallowing all that and being battered by it.
I mean, honestly, listening to the Doom soundtrack so far has felt kind of like swallowing bullets. The size of planets.
Yeah. Another thing that really caught my attention was just after he said he wanted to see how far you can combine metal with technology, and then flesh and metal plays. I'm just starting to think that maybe in that song the flesh part is represented by the electronics and the metal is the metal. I don't know. It's like there's this separation there that's really cool.
Yeah, I think Flesh and Metal does the best job of like giving you alternate bits of one and then the other. It's like all electronic and then all out metal.
Yeah.
And confusion. Are we gonna go to the second part?
Yes, let's go to the second part.
Hell in Doom is just horrifying. It's ancient and threatening and violent. It's a nightmare. I was really inspired by these huge monolithic structures that are kind of broken to the point where you can actually see the energy that's holding these structures together. I thought, like, what would this energy sound like? And how could I use that in the music? I came up with this idea of breaking sound down into its kind of bare bones components, which are sine waves and noise. I then pulsed rhythms of sine waves and noise through vast arrays of analog equipment. So the idea here wasn't to use the analog equipment as an effects processor, even though that's kind of what it's made for. Basically, I'm using the circuits of the equipment to corrupt the pure sine waves and noise.
Oh, I love this one.
Dude, he basically said he's trying to ruin the like clear texture of the sound.
Well, in all fairness, he started from sine wave and raw noise to begin with, so it wasn't exactly clear anyway.
Yeah, but it's like that's why you have these cuts and discrepancies in the electronic effects. That's why they're so gnarly and heavy and almost have the same effect as the riff. Because
yeah, and I felt the sample that
breaks them.
Yeah, and I felt that the sample of sound he gave us was very descriptive of that image with the energy connecting the structures. So
Yeah.
that's like evil keeping the whole structure together, and it flows through his analog equipment.
Yes. It's not just electricity, it's Mick Gordon evil.
He bought those from Satan.
Or
Well,
maybe,
actually, I think he bought them from some local store, and after he used them, he could probably sell them to Satan in an auction.
I was gonna say them he had them custom made from Satan because Satan wouldn't have the curiosity.
Let's see how this ends. That's the noise.
I found a bunch of interesting equipment that did really interesting things to any sound that I fed through it. An old reel-to-reel tape machine, old cassette machines with crappy cassettes. I found all sorts of old guitar pedals that were really bizarre and obscure and did all sorts of weird things to the sounds. Electricity is a real, tangible thing. You've got electrons bouncing around on a circuit, and when you capture that, you're capturing a real energy. I found an old Soviet synthesizer from the 80s called a Polavox. It's really big and heavy and over-engineered, and it weighs a ton. It's full of character. I don't speak Russian, and operating it is kind of a bit of an adventure. But I really love the sound of it. It sounds real.
He's such a dork.
He's a dangerous dork.
Yeah, he's the most evil dork in the world. That was really cool, man. That I feel that thing that he said with bringing the music down to electric energy, and it's tangible. I think that's why the stuff that we're listening to from Doom 2016 are so much more authentic than Eternal, because he's using all this equipment that's so old and fuzzy and dusty and with spider webs all over it.
Yeah, it's
You
like
can feel that.
yeah, it's like why use a really high-tech thing to simulate this distortions instead of getting like actual distortions, like actual discrepancies and tears in sound.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so hands-on and it feels so hands-on.
And so dystopian in some sense.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like it makes sense, right? Because from what I could see with the imagery, Doom has this really destroyed kind of vibe and environment, and everything's like crushed and collapsed and apocalyptic and hollow. So the fact that he would take pieces of machinery that have basically went through that in their lives, that are so old, that are so battered, that have that you can basically strip down and tweak, because that's as far as I get what he did. He didn't just use them the way they're supposed to be used. He started experimenting and messing with the noise in all these ways. So
yeah,
I mean the noise, what's actually called noise, like the pretzels on your TV, not pretzels, but you know what I mean, the fuzzy things on your TV and in sound, those are considered a flaw.
Yes.
He used them to bring that aesthetic. Like, how ingenious is that?
Yeah, and I love the little Soviet tool at the end as well.
Yeah, that was so cool.
He didn't say anything about chainsaws though, but I'll take it. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I think he might not have said that because he's not allowed to.
Probably.
And I mean, if I would have used the chainsaw in a song, I would brag about that.
You probably couldn't do that because you couldn't start a chainsaw.
Yeah. I like this. It felt partly more like an advertisement than an actual deep down, but like how much of a deep dive into what he's doing can you get in 8 minutes? But I really like kind of just the mad scientist of music sort of vibe he's getting across, and also just how well he can advertise it, and the Aussie accent.
Yes.
So
we have to love the accent.
So I think that's kind of what I could grab from this. Anything else you gotta comment on?
Nope.
If you enjoyed this reaction, we greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on.
Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon.
Corpse out.